The stars looked different from this part of the galaxy. Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the observation deck of the Starseeker, her eyes fixed on the massive alien station that floated against the backdrop of unfamiliar constellations. After 5 years of deep space exploration, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced alien civilization, the Varaxian Collective. "Captain, they're hailing us again," said Officer Jack Miller from behind her. "The ambassador is ready to receive our delegation." Lisa nodded, straightening her uniform. "Tell them we're on our way." The shuttle ride to the Varaxian station was tense but exciting. Lisa sat with her small team. Dr. Olivia Wright, a brilliant xenobiologist with curly red hair and eager eyes, Lieutenant Danny Clark, a tall security officer with a serious expression, Engineer Kyle Peterson, who couldn't stop fiddling with his tablet, and Amanda Jones, their communications specialist who had made the breakthrough that allowed them to understand the alien language. "Remember," Lisa said as the shuttle docked, "we represent all of humanity now. First impressions matter." The airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor that seemed to be made of flowing crystal. At the end stood 3 aliens, Varaxians. They were tall, willowy creatures with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their 4 arms moved in graceful patterns as they communicated, and their large eyes, 3 on each face, blinked in different patterns. The tallest Varaxian stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Zixtal. Welcome to Station Harmony, humans of Earth." Its voice came through the translation devices as smooth and melodic. Lisa stepped forward. "Thank you, Ambassador. I am Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth vessel Starseeker. We are honored by your welcome." The alien's skin rippled with blue and green patterns. "You are the 47th species we have welcomed to the collective in the past 10,000 years. You seem physically unimpressive compared to many, but we have learned not to judge by appearances." Danny tensed beside her, but Lisa kept her diplomatic smile. "We find your species quite remarkable as well." The ambassador led them through corridors filled with alien technology and art from dozens of worlds. They passed other alien species, some with multiple limbs, others that seemed to float rather than walk, many with physical features humans had never imagined possible. The Varaxian Collective includes 216 species from across this galactic sector, Zixtal explained. "We share knowledge, resources, and protection, but membership is not granted easily." They entered a vast chamber with a dome that showed the stars outside. In the center sat a circular table with seats designed for various body types. "Please join us," the ambassador said, gesturing to seats that looked almost human-sized. As they sat, Lisa noticed a strange tension among the aliens. They were studying the humans with unusual intensity. "Captain Morgan," Zixtal said after they were settled, "before we discuss potential relations between our peoples, I must inform you of the gauntlet." "The gauntlet?" Lisa asked. "All species seeking admission to the collective must pass the gauntlet AI test left by the precursors, the first civilization to reach the stars in this galaxy. They disappeared 1,000,000 years ago, but their legacy remains." The ambassador's skin darkened to purple. "It is a challenge of intelligence and problem-solving. In simple terms, what you humans might call an escape room, but far more complex." Lisa exchanged glances with her team. "And what happens if we fail this test?" "You return home with basic trade agreements only. No advanced technology, no protection from the more aggressive species in this sector." Zixtal's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. "But do not worry too much about failure. All species are given 100 galactic hours to complete the challenge, though I should note that 94% of species fail completely." "And the 6% that succeed?" Kyle asked. "The fastest completion was by the Makani, who solved it in 3 standard galactic days, approximately 76 of your Earth hours." Amanda leaned forward. "What exactly does this challenge involve?" The ambassador's skin rippled with what seemed like amusement that would defeat the purpose of the test. "But I can tell you it adapts itself to each species, creating puzzles based on your specific cognitive patterns." Lisa considered this information carefully. Humanity needed allies in this vast galaxy, and the protection of the collective would be invaluable. "We accept the challenge," she said firmly. The Varaxian's skin flickered with surprise. Or was it satisfaction? "Excellent," Zixtal said. "The gauntlet awaits you tomorrow." Image description for AI generation. A human diplomatic team faces tall, willowy aliens with iridescent skin that shifts colors like oil on water. The aliens have 4 arms and 3 eyes each, standing in a vast chamber with a dome showing stars. The scene depicts first contact between humans and the Varaxian collective aboard an alien space station made of flowing crystal. The human team gathered in their assigned quarters aboard the Varaxian station. The room was spacious, but alien, though walls seemed to breathe slightly, and the lighting adjusted to their mood. Captain Lisa Morgan paced while her crew sat around a table made of something like polished amber. "So, we have to solve some kind of giant alien puzzle box," Lisa said, stopping her pacing. "And most species fail completely." Dr. Olivia Wright's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I love escape rooms. I've done every one in Chicago." "I don't think alien escape rooms are quite the same as the ones back home," Lieutenant Danny Clark said. He was cleaning his sidearm, a habit when he was thinking. "Put that away," Lisa said. "The ambassador made it clear. No weapons in the gauntlet." Danny frowned but obeyed. "I don't like going in unprepared." Engineer Kyle Peterson looked up from his tablet. "I've been reviewing what little they told us. The gauntlet changes for each species, so we can't prepare for specific puzzles. But they did say it tests our cognitive patterns, how we think and solve problems. Which means we need a team with different thinking styles," Amanda Jones said. She was the youngest of the group with a talent for languages and patterns. "Logic, creativity, technical skills, intuition." Lisa nodded. "Exactly why I've chosen the 4 of you. But we need a plan." A chime sounded, and Ambassador Zixtal's voice filled the room. "Human delegation, please prepare. The gauntlet awaits." 2 hours later, they stood in a vast circular chamber. Other alien teams were also present, preparing for their own attempts. The Quantari, short 6-armed beings with large heads, huddled together, discussing complex equations. The Makani, metallic-skinned humanoids with glowing eyes, stood, silently, their expressions unreadable. Ambassador Zixtal approached with 2 other Varaxians. "Captain Morgan, has your team decided who will attempt the gauntlet?" Lisa gestured to her 4 crew members. "All of us. Lieutenant Clark for security and physical challenges, Dr. Wright for biological knowledge, Engineer Peterson for technical puzzles, and Specialist Jones for communication and pattern recognition." The ambassador's skin rippled with what seemed like amusement. "Most species send their most intellectual members only. Your diverse approach is unusual. Humans work best as a team," Lisa replied firmly. "As you wish." Zixtal handed them each a small device that looked like a smooth pebble. "These will translate text within the gauntlet and allow us to communicate with you. They also track your progress." Danny examined his device suspiciously. "And monitor us?" "Of course," the ambassador said without shame. "Now, please follow me." They walked to a plain wall that suddenly melted away, revealing a circular door made of an unknown metal. Strange symbols carved into its surface shifted and changed as they watched. "The gauntlet will scan you and create challenges based on human cognition," Zixtal explained. "The time limit is 100 galactic hours. If you wish to exit before completing the challenge, simply state so aloud 3 times. "What exactly? Are we looking for inside?" Kyle asked. "You will know when you find it," the ambassador said cryptically. "The goal is always clear once you see it." Olivia stepped forward eagerly. "Let's do this." "One last question," Lisa said. "Why is this test so important to you?" Zixtal's skin darkened to a deep blue. The precursors believed that problem-solving ability was the true measure of a species' worth. "We honor their wisdom." There seemed to be more to it, but the ambassador changed the subject. "The door will open when you are ready. Simply place your hands on it together." The 4 team members exchanged glances, then stepped forward. Danny looked determined, Kyle nervous, Olivia excited, and Amanda calm and focused. "Remember," Lisa said to them, "think outside the box." They placed their hands on the door. It hummed and grew warm under their touch. The strange symbols spun faster, then flashed brightly. "Good luck, humans," Zixtal said as the door slid open, revealing a swirling corridor of light. "You have surprised us already. Perhaps you will do so again." The team stepped through the doorway together, and the door sealed shut behind them with a final, heavy thud. Image description for AI generation. 4 humans in matching uniforms stand before a massive circular metal door covered in shifting alien symbols. Their hands are placed on the door's surface, which glows with bluish light. Behind them stand tall, willowy aliens with iridescent skin and multiple eyes, observing with interest. The scene is set in a vast chamber with other alien species visible in the background, small, 6-armed beings with lair. The swirling corridor of light lasted only seconds before the team stumbled into a large, dimly lit room. As their eyes adjusted, they gasped in unison. The room looked exactly like an old Earth library, with tall wooden bookshelves, reading, tables with green glass lamps, and even the smell of old paper and leather bindings. "This is not what I expected," Kyle said, turning in a slow circle. Danny moved cautiously between the shelves. "It's trying to make us comfortable. Don't trust it. Or it's using elements from our own culture to challenge us," Olivia suggested, already pulling books from shelves and flipping through them. "These aren't random. Look at this. It's Darwin's Origin of Species, but some passages are wrong." Amanda pointed to a wall clock. Its hands were moving but not keeping proper time. "Guys, I think that's our timer." The clock showed 59:59, and as they watched, it ticked down to 59:58. "1 hour?" Kyle asked, confused. "The ambassador said we had 100 galactic hours." "Maybe it's just tracking our first hour," Olivia said. The team spread out to investigate the room. Besides books, they found odd objects scattered throughout: a microscope, an old compass, various tools, star charts, and a collection of musical instruments. Everything seemed related to human history and science. "The books are organized strangely," Amanda said after a few minutes. "Not alphabetically or by subject. Wait." She pulled several books and laid them on a table. "These are arranged by when they were published, but there's a pattern to which years are represented." Kyle examined the star charts while Olivia looked through the microscope. "The stars aren't in the right positions," Kyle said. "They're shifted, like someone made subtle mistakes on purpose. And this slide shows DNA, but it's not quite right either," Olivia added. Danny, who had been testing the room's boundaries, called from the far end, "I found something." The others hurried over to where he stood before a section of wall that seemed different from the rest. "It feels hollow behind here." A voice suddenly echoed through the room, the translator in their pocket pebbles activating. "Attention all participants, the Quantari team has completed their first challenge. Time elapsed, 12 galactic hours." 12 hours for the first puzzle? Kyle whispered. "We've been here less than 10 minutes, Amanda said. Olivia had been studying a series of books about astronomy. "I think I see it. The star charts, the incorrectly published dates of these astronomy books, the DNA patterns, they're all connected." She quickly explained her theory. The gauntlet was testing if they could spot the deliberate errors and correct them. The team gathered around the star charts while Kyle used his engineering skills to calculate the correct star positions. "If we adjust the star chart to how the stars should actually look," he muttered, making quick calculations. Amanda caught on. "And if we arrange the books in their correct publication order." They worked quickly, rearranging books, adjusting the star charts, and correctly ordering historical objects by their proper time periods. As they placed the final book, a soft click came from the hollow wall Danny had found. 54 minutes left, Olivia said, glancing at the clock that now showed 54:23. Danny pushed against the wall section, which swung open like a door, revealing a new chamber beyond. This one looked nothing like the library. It was filled with strange machines, holographic displays, and what appeared to be biological samples in glass containers. "Level 1 complete," came a mechanical voice from their translator pebbles. Humans have completed initial cognitive pattern assessment, calibrating difficulty. Did it just say it's making things harder? Kyle asked nervously. I think it's surprised we solved the first part so quickly, Amanda said with a smile. From their translator pebbles came another announcement. Attention all observers, human team has completed first challenge. Time elapsed, 17 minutes. They could almost feel the shock from the unseen aliens watching them. Let's keep moving, Danny said, stepping through the doorway. We've got a lot more to solve. Image description for AI generation. 4 humans in uniform stand in what appears to be an ancient Earth library with tall wooden bookshelves, but with subtle alien elements. Star charts are spread across a table with green-shaded lamps, while strange objects and scientific instruments are scattered throughout. A wall has just opened to reveal a high-tech chamber beyond, filled with alien machinery and holographic displays. A clock on the wall shows 54:23 remaining. The scene captures the moment of discovery, as the humans solve the first level of the alien puzzle far faster than expected. The second chamber hummed with strange energy. Unlike the familiar library, this room was clearly alien. Curved walls displayed moving patterns of light, and floating platforms held odd machines and containers of colorful liquids. Spread out but stay within sight of each other, Danny instructed, his security training kicking in. Kyle moved to a console that resembled a control panel. This looks like it controls something, but I can't figure out what. The symbols on it shifted as he watched, transforming into shapes that almost but not quite resembled mathematical equations. Amanda studied a wall covered in what looked like musical notation. This reminds me of music, but the notes are all wrong. Olivia examined containers of swirling liquid. These have biological samples in them, DNA, cells, tissue, but they're arranged in some kind of pattern. They worked for several minutes, each focusing on their area of expertise. The clock on the wall now showed 48:16 and counting down. I think I see how this works, Kyle said suddenly. These aren't just equations, they're sound waves. Amanda, can you match the musical notes to these patterns? Amanda rushed over. Yes, it's like they're 2 halves of the same puzzle. As they worked, their translator pebbles spoke again. Attention all observers. The Makani team has requested assistance with their second challenge. Their time penalty has been assessed. They're getting help? Danny asked. Should we? No, Olivia said firmly. They said there's a time penalty. Let's solve this ourselves. Kyle and Amanda had figured out how to match the mathematical equations with the musical patterns. When they aligned correctly, one of the floating platforms lowered. Meanwhile, Olivia had discovered something in the biological samples. The DNA sequences contain a code. It's like they've hidden a message in the genetic structure. Danny, who had been examining what looked like a puzzle box, brought it over. This box has slots that might match your DNA sequences. Olivia carefully analyzed the DNA patterns and gave Danny instructions on how to arrange the puzzle box. As he made the final adjustment, the box clicked open, revealing a small crystal. I think we need to put this somewhere, Danny said, looking around. Kyle pointed to the console he'd been working on. There's a slot here that might fit it. As soon as Danny placed the crystal into the console, music began to play, the correct version of the distorted notes Amanda had been studying. The walls of the room shifted, revealing a hidden doorway. Level 2 complete, announced their translator pebbles. Time elapsed, 31 minutes total. We're making good time, Amanda said, smiling. Another announcement followed. Attention, all observers, human team has completed second challenge. Note, they have declined assistance options. The team exchanged proud glances as they approached the newly revealed doorway. This one was triangular and seemed to be made of flowing metal. What do you think is next? Kyle asked. Something harder, Danny replied. They're testing our limits. Olivia looked thoughtful. I noticed something about these puzzles. They're not just testing knowledge, they're testing how we approach problems. The first room was about recognizing patterns and fixing errors. This room was about connecting different types of information. They're testing how humans think, Amanda agreed. As they stepped through the triangular doorway, They entered a chamber unlike any they had seen so far. This one was vast and seemingly empty, except for a single pedestal in the center holding what looked like an old-fashioned puzzle box. "This can't be as simple as it looks," Danny said cautiously. As they approached the pedestal, the floor beneath them suddenly became transparent, revealing that they were standing above a complex maze filled with moving parts and glowing energy fields. "I think," Kyle said slowly, "the puzzle box controls the maze, and we need to find a path through it." "But why show us the whole maze?" Amanda wondered. "Other species would have to solve it step by step." Olivia grinned. "Because they don't expect us to see the solution so quickly. But from up here, we can map the entire thing," Danny finished. "We can plan our route before we even start." The team gathered around the pedestal, studying the maze below. Unlike other species who might have entered the maze first, the humans were already plotting their strategy, seeing the big picture in a way the Gauntlet's designers hadn't anticipated. Image description for AI generation. 4 humans in uniform stand on a transparent floor, looking down at a complex glowing maze beneath them. They're gathered around a central pedestal with an ancient-looking puzzle box. The chamber has triangular doorways and walls of flowing metal with shifting light patterns. The humans are pointing at different sections of the maze visible below, clearly planning their strategy from an aerial view that gives them an unexpected advantage. Their faces show concentration and excitement as they work together to solve the alien challenge. The maze puzzle box was unlike anything they had seen on Earth. It had sliding panels, rotating rings, and buttons that glowed different colors when touched. As Kyle turned one of the rings, the maze below shifted in response. "It's a control system," he said. "Each action here changes the maze." Amanda studied the patterns carefully. "The maze keeps changing, but not randomly. There's a sequence." Olivia pointed to different sections. "Look, these parts pulse with light when we touch certain controls. I think we need to create a safe path through the maze by setting up the right configuration." Danny, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. "Wait, what if we're overthinking this? The other challenges had tricks to them." "What do you mean?" Kyle asked, still rotating rings on the puzzle box. "In the first room we had to fix errors. In the second we had to connect different types of information. What if this one is about—" Danny hesitated, then smiled. Breaking the rules, he reached out and pressed all the buttons on the puzzle box at once. The others gasped, expecting something bad to happen, but instead the maze below froze in place. "How did you know to do that?" Amanda asked, amazed. "I didn't. But think about it. The Gauntlet is testing how different species think. What if this tests whether we're willing to try something that seems wrong?" Olivia laughed. "Like pushing all the buttons at once when any logical person would try them one at a time. With the maze frozen, they could now clearly see a path from one end to the other." Kyle manipulated the puzzle box, setting the path according to what they could see from above. "I think that's it," he said finally. A section of the floor slid open, revealing steps leading down into the maze. The clock now showed 39:45. "Do we all go down?" Amanda asked. "Yes," Danny said firmly. "We stay together." They descended into the maze, following the path they had mapped from above. The walls glowed with strange energy, and occasionally parts of the floor would shift, but thanks to their planning they moved confidently through the twisting passages. Halfway through, they reached a chamber with 4 pedestals, each holding a different object: a small pyramid, a cube, a sphere, and a cylinder. "One for each of us," Olivia noted. Each object had symbols that matched those on their translator pebbles. When they each picked up their matching object, the symbols began to glow. "I think we need to carry these to the end," Kyle suggested. They continued through the maze. They found that the objects they carried affected the environment. Amanda's sphere created safe passages over dangerous-looking sections. Kyle's cube disabled energy barriers. Olivia's pyramid revealed hidden doorways. Danny's cylinder stabilized shifting floor sections. The maze is testing our ability to work together, Olivia realized. Each of us has a piece of the solution. Their translator pebbles announced, "Attention all observers. Quantari team has entered their maze level. Time elapsed. 22 galactic hours. 22 hours, Kyle whispered. We've been here less than 40 minutes total. They reached the end of the maze where 4 slots waited, one shaped for each of their objects. When they placed them, simultaneously the wall before them dissolved, revealing a new chamber. Level 3 complete, came the announcement. Time elapsed, 41 minutes total. Behind them they heard excited chatter from their translator pebbles. The alien observers were clearly surprised by their progress. The humans continued to exceed expected parameters, said a voice they recognized as Ambassador Zixtol. They are approaching the core challenge in record time. The new chamber they entered was smaller than the others and completely white. In the center stood what looked like a simple table with a human chessboard on it. Chess? Danny asked, confused. That seems too simple. As they approached, they saw that it wasn't quite chess. The pieces looked similar but had different markings, and the board had additional spaces and strange symbols. Not chess, Amanda said, but a game that tests strategic thinking. And probably has some twist we need to figure out, Olivia added. Kyle studied the board carefully. I think this is the core challenge they mentioned. Let's see what makes it so difficult. Image description for AI generation. 4 humans in uniform stand around a strange alien chessboard in a pristine white chamber. The chessboard has familiar-looking pieces but with alien symbols and extra spaces beyond the traditional X8 grid. Each human holds a different geometric object, a pyramid, cube, sphere, and cylinder, that glows with colored light. Their expressions show intense concentration as they study what appears to be a strategic puzzle game. Through a dissolving wall behind them, a complex glowing maze is visible, showing the path they've successfully navigated to reach this core challenge. The strange chess-like game sat waiting for them. As they approached, the pieces began to glow, softly. I think we need to play the game, Kyle said. But against whom? As if in answer, one side of the pieces, the black ones, moved by themselves. A pawn shifted forward 2 spaces. We're playing against the gauntlet itself, Amanda observed. Danny studied the board carefully. The rules seem similar to chess, but there are differences. Some pieces have symbols that don't match anything I know. Olivia pointed to markings around the board. And look at these. I think they show special rules for different squares. Kyle, who was the best chess player among them, took the lead. He moved a white pawn forward, and immediately one of the black pieces, one with a spiral symbol on top, moved diagonally in a way no chess piece should be able to move. Definitely not standard chess, he muttered. As they played, they began to understand the new rules. Some squares allowed pieces to transform. Others let pieces jump to different parts of the board. The extra spaces beyond the traditional 8x8 grid served as holding areas where captured pieces could return to play under certain conditions. This is testing our ability to adapt to new rules, Olivia said. To understand a system by interacting with it. 20 minutes into the game, they were losing badly. The gauntlet seemed to know every possible move in advance. The clock showed 47:12 remaining. This isn't working, Danny said in frustration after losing another piece. We can't outthink a system that was designed to win. Amanda had been very quiet, watching the game progress. Suddenly she smiled. Maybe we're not supposed to win, maybe that's the trick. What do you mean? Kyle asked, still focused on the board. Every challenge so far has had a twist. The first room was about finding and fixing errors. The second was about connecting different types of information. The maze was about breaking conventional approaches, Amanda explained. What if this game isn't about winning at all? Olivia caught on. What if it's about finding a different solution entirely? They studied the board more carefully, looking beyond the game itself. Amanda noticed that certain pieces, when captured, created patterns of light on the board. Danny observed that some squares seemed to react differently when pieces of different types landed on them. I think, Kyle said slowly, we need to create a specific pattern with the pieces, not try to win the game. Working together, they began, deliberately moving pieces to create patterns on the board. sometimes sacrificing important pieces that they would normally protect in a regular chess game. As they placed the pieces in what seemed like losing positions, the board began to glow brighter. "That's it," Olivia exclaimed. "We're not playing to win, we're playing to create a specific configuration." As they placed the final piece, deliberately, putting their king in checkmate, the entire board lit up with brilliant light. Instead of ending the game, the table itself transformed, the pieces melting and reshaping into a three-dimensional star map. "Level 4 complete," announced their translator Pebbles. Time elapsed, 49 minutes total. Around them they could hear the excited and confused chatter of the alien observers. "Impossible," one voice said. "They deliberately lost the game to progress?" "They recognized the pattern test within 6 moves," another commented with what sounded like awe. "Ambassador," Zixtul's voice cut through the others. "The humans are showing remarkable cognitive flexibility. They shift between logical and intuitive thinking faster than any species we've tested." The star map, hovering above the former chessboard, began to rotate, then zoomed in on one particular star system. A new doorway appeared in the wall. "I think we're nearing the end," Danny said, looking at the clock that now showed 50:35. "The final challenge must be through there," Amanda agreed. Kyle smiled. "Whatever it is, we'll solve it together." Olivia led the way toward the new doorway. "Let's show them what humans can really do." Image description for AI generation. 4 humans stand around a glowing chess-like game board that's transforming into a 3D holographic star map. The chess pieces are melting and reshaping, emitting brilliant light that illuminates the humans' faces with expressions of triumph and wonder. The game board has unusual markings and extends beyond the traditional chess grid. The chamber around them is white and minimalist, with a newly appeared doorway visible on one wall. A digital clock display shows 50:35 remaining. The scene captures the moment of breakthrough, as the humans realize they needed to lose the game deliberately to solve the puzzle, demonstrating their unique problem-solving approach. The final chamber was darker than the others. As they entered, soft blue lights activated along the floor, guiding them forward. The room was circular and vast, with a ceiling that seemed to display the stars of the Milky Way galaxy. "This feels different," Amanda whispered. The playful nature of the earlier puzzles was gone. This room felt solemn, important. In the center of the chamber stood a raised platform with 5 pedestals arranged in a circle. 4 of the pedestals were empty, but the central one held what looked like a crystal sphere about the size of a basketball. Inside the sphere, a miniature Earth rotated slowly. "Is that our planet?" Kyle asked, approaching cautiously. As they gathered around the platform, a holographic figure appeared, a tall, slender being with features that resembled both the Phoraxians and other alien species they had seen. "Greetings, humans," the figure said, its voice coming through their translator Pebbles. "You have reached the final test of the gauntlet. I am a recreation of one who you would call a precursor." The team exchanged excited glances. They were speaking with a representation of the ancient civilization that had built the gauntlet. "Your species has shown remarkable problem-solving abilities," the hologram continued. "Now you face the ultimate challenge, one of both intelligence and morality." The sphere containing Earth began to glow brighter. "Within this simulation is a representation of your homeworld. It faces an extinction-level threat." The hologram gestured, and they could see inside the sphere that dark clouds were forming around the miniature Earth. "You must save it." 4 smaller crystal orbs rose from the floor, hovering before each team member. "Each of you may sacrifice something to save your world," the hologram explained. "Knowledge, time, physical ability, or memory. Place your hand on an orb to make your choice." Danny frowned. "So one of us has to give up something important to save Earth in this simulation?" "That's the test," Olivia said quietly. "It's about what we're willing to sacrifice." The clock now showed 55:03. They had less than 5 minutes to reach the 1-hour mark. Kyle studied the pedestals carefully. "Wait, there's something wrong here. The pedestals have markings that don't match what the hologram is saying." "Amanda," bent down to examine the floor around the platform. And look at these patterns. They remind me of the circuits we saw in the second chamber. I think, Olivia said slowly, this isn't about sacrifice at all. That's a false choice. Danny nodded. Another trick. The other challenges tested whether we would think differently. This one is testing if we'll accept the premise we're given. So what's the real solution? Kyle asked. Amanda had been studying the crystal orbs. These aren't just symbols of sacrifice. They're keys of some kind. And we don't need to choose. Just one, Olivia added excitedly. We need to use all four together. They quickly developed a plan. Each person took one of the crystal orbs and moved to one of the empty pedestals. Following Amanda's guidance, they placed the orbs in specific positions based on the floor pattern she had observed. On 3, Danny said. 1, 2, 3. They pressed their orbs into the pedestals simultaneously. Instead of any sacrifice occurring, energy flowed from all 4 orbs toward the central sphere. The dark clouds around Earth disappeared and the planet glowed with healthy blue and green colors. The hologram looked surprised. If an artificial intelligence could show such emotion. Fascinating, it said. You rejected the false dichotomy. Instead of accepting that sacrifice was necessary, you found the collaborative solution. The central sphere rose higher, and the miniature Earth inside grew brighter until it illuminated the entire chamber. Final challenge complete, announced their translator Pebbles. Total time, 59 minutes and 42 seconds. The team stood in shocked silence for a moment before breaking into cheers and hugs. We did it, Olivia exclaimed. Under an hour. Their celebration was interrupted by the sound of many voices coming through their translator Pebbles. The alien observers. We're in an uproar. Impossible. No species has ever. How could they? The humans have broken every record. Above these excited voices they heard Ambassador Zixtool speaking formally. Record the result. Humanity has completed the gauntlet in 59 minutes and 42 seconds. The previous record is exceeded by a factor of 76. The hologram of the precursor nodded to them with what seemed like respect. Your species thinks differently. You see beyond false choices. You collaborate. You question assumptions. These are rare and valuable traits in our galaxy. The walls of the chamber became transparent, revealing a crowd of alien observers watching, them with expressions of awe and disbelief. The way is now open, the hologram said as a final doorway appeared. Welcome to the collective, humans. You have much to teach us all. Image description for AI generation. 4 humans stand around, a circular platform with 5 crystal pedestals. Their hands rest on glowing crystal orbs while energy streams from these orbs toward a central sphere, containing a miniature Earth. The chamber is dark but illuminated by the bright blue-green glow of the central sphere, and streams of light connecting all pedestals. Above them, a holographic alien figure watches with an expression of surprise. Through newly transparent walls, crowds of diverse alien species can be seen watching with awe. A digital display shows 5942. The scene captures the moment when humans reject the false choice of sacrifice and instead find a collaborative solution that no other species discovered. The team stepped through the final doorway and found themselves back in the main chamber of the Varaxian station. Captain Lisa Morgan rushed forward to meet them, her face showing both relief and pride. You did it, she exclaimed, embracing each of them in turn. You actually did it. Around them, aliens of various species were gathered, all watching the humans with new interest. Ambassador Zixtool approached, the color of their skin shifting through shades of blue and purple that seemed to indicate deep emotion. Humanity has surprised us, the ambassador said, their voice carrying through the chamber. In all our records, no species has ever completed the gauntlet in less than 1 standard galactic day. You did it in less than 1 galactic hour. The other aliens murmured among themselves. The Quantari representatives huddled together, their 6 arms moving in agitated patterns. The Makani stood silent, their metallic skin reflecting the lights of the chamber. What happens now? Lisa asked. Now, said Zixtool, humanity is welcomed into the collective. As is our tradition, you will be granted access to our shared knowledge, technology, and protection. A formal ceremony followed, with representatives from various species presenting symbolic gifts to the human team. The Quantari offered a data crystal containing mathematical knowledge. The Makani presented a small device that could generate energy from almost any source. Other species brought forward their own tokens of welcome. After the ceremony, Ambassador Zixtul requested a private meeting with Captain Morgan and her team. They were led to a smaller chamber with a view of the stars. "There is something you should know," the ambassador said once they were alone. "Something we tell only those who complete the gauntlet." The ambassador's skin darkened to a deep indigo. The gauntlet is more than a membership test. It was created by the precursors as a warning and a preparation. "A warning about what?" Lisa asked. "The precursors discovered that our galaxy faces a cycle of extinction. Every million years something awakens in the darkness between stars, something that has destroyed all advanced life many times before." The humans exchanged concerned glances. "The precursors discovered this too late to save themselves," Zixtul continued. "But they created the gauntlet to find species with the potential to face this threat, species that could think differently enough to find solutions where others saw none." Kyle looked troubled. "And how long until this threat returns?" "Our calculations suggest within a human generation," the ambassador replied solemnly. "We have been searching for species with unique problem-solving abilities. Many have joined the collective, but none have shown the cognitive flexibility of humans." Olivia leaned forward. "What makes humans so different? You reject false choices. You switch between logical and intuitive thinking with remarkable speed. You question assumptions that other species accept without thought. And most importantly, you collaborate, combining different perspectives to find new solutions." Danny frowned. "So, you're saying that humanity's weird way of thinking might help save the galaxy?" "Precisely," Zixtul said. "The way you solve the gauntlet, especially the final challenge, suggests your species might see solutions that have eluded the rest of us." The ambassador moved to a control panel and activated a display showing a map of the galaxy. "We have been detecting unusual energy patterns at the galactic edge. Our scientists believe these are early signs of the threat awakening." Lisa studied the map carefully. "So what happens next?" "Your team will return to Earth as heroes. Your government will be offered full membership in the collective. We will share technology and knowledge to help humanity prepare." Zixtul's skin shifted to a warmer color. "And we hope that together, we might find a way to break the cycle of extinction." As they prepared to return to the Starseeker, Amanda looked out at the stars. "To think we were just exploring, hoping to find other life. Now we're part of an ancient struggle to save the galaxy. If anyone kill,